the enemy of all rural fences. Concrete. I think this illustrates my loathing of concrete in the base of agricultural posts perfectly. The post is rocking from side to side, no problem. So it's failed as an end post and it's allowed the gate to hit the ground. But just try and get it out. So concrete is everything that's wrong in fences and nothing that's right. Convince me I'm wrong. Better still, tell me I'm wrong and come and do this bit for me. Now this leaves me with a compromised hole that I've got to put a new post in. You see, this is on an existing fence line. I'm just replacing an end post that had failed and let the gate fall onto the ground. So I've got to pack this full of soil. I'm going to go third pack, third pack, third pack to avoid bridging. And then I'm going to show you something that I reckon is a perfect solution for this. And in fact, a perfect solution for end assemblies where you can't use machinery and you have to hand drive, even if there's a few rocks or broken concrete in the hole.
Oh yeah, baby.
So let me introduce you to today's solution and the star of the show. This is the drive tight end assembly post and end assembly system from Rotech. Now this post is 2.4 meters long and it's 100 NB. So even though it's a post you can hand drive with no powered equipment, it's still a 100 NB end assembly post. It'll take all the standard gate fittings and it won't look out of place and it'll have the strength that you need. The bottom 600mm has this fluted, easy to drive steel post, and then there are these slots in two positions at about 1650 and 1350 down the post, and that allows you to either have your post about 1500 out of the ground or about 1300 out of the ground, depending on the fence that you're putting up. Because of my compromised hole, I'm going to be driving to about 100mm above the upper slot, and then I'm going to be using these nifty ground anchors to further secure this post and put down footings to brace my gate, and that should overcome any compromised material in that hole. Let's get started and I'll show you how the system works. First, you're going to want to dig out a square of soil about 1.5 shovels width wide and about 200mm deep. This is going to set your little brackets and ground anchors below ground level so there's no tripping or injury hazard. Don't skip this step. It's kind of important. To mark out your gate post, first measure the length of your gate. I've just put it here for illustrative purposes. Then come about 2 inches past that. That's where the outside edge of your post should sit. Then measure 55mm because it's 100mm NB, which means it's 110 diameter on the outside. Measure 55mm out from that. That's the center of your post. Make sure that this line is in line with the fence and you're good to drive. And I just got bitten by a bullet. Now I wouldn't normally stop to talk about a hand dolly for driving posts, but these blokes at Rotech are clever little buggers. Have a look at these two holes. Have you ever noticed when you're driving a round pipe post that it gets really hard to drive and you've got to hit it lots and lots? This is acting like a piston and driving positive air pressure inside the post you're trying to drive that decreases the force of each hit. By adding these two simple little holes, they've overcome that problem. The post's going quicker. Now I don't have to tell you to wear hearing protection for this bit, do I? Check your level about 3 times during the driving process. The first couple are the most important. Spot on. So despite the worst of all possible scenarios, the drive tight post has allowed me to use an existing hole that was full of concrete and had to be dug right out and compromised. Because of the spreading ground anchors at its base, this thing is going to be able to support not only a gate hanging off this direction, but a fence hanging off that direction. And note, I've put the ground anchors in the same plane of direction as the force that's going to be applied on this post. I just can't believe that there are people who'll buy these drive tight kits and install them without bothering to put in 2 steel posts as ground anchors. It's a huge missed opportunity and it's a recipe for disaster. Use the system as it's designed to be used and you're not going to be disappointed. The next step is to strain up a little ground wire. Just lightly strain some wire, get a nice straight line down your fence, and you're going to be wanting to set up the rest of this end assembly inside the pressure side of the fence. So you're going to have the fence wire on one face of the fence and you're going to have the assembly immediately behind it. Now before we start the next bit, we're going to slip the noose from the cable stay around its neck. Now at about 800 to 850 up the post, we're going to attach our end assembly collar. Once you've got this exactly where you want it, do it up nice and tight. It's an 18mm socket. Then tap it on to make sure that the collar is a nice tight fit. Then check for the straightness of your stay with the fence line. You can undo this nut, move your stay around if need be. I've got this one pretty right. Now this is a diagonal stay kit, so there is a stay plate at the end. It's designed to float on the surface of the soil and absorb shock and movement. This is held together by the stay cable with a lovely stainless steel threaded rod at this end. Being stainless steel, it's going to be highly corrosion resistant and it's going to be incredibly easy to maintain because the movement of the nut across stainless steel is just like silk. You don't have to lubricate this or do anything else in order to maintain it. Next, put a piece of threaded rod, a screwdriver, something nice and straight in the eye bolt to stop it spinning. And just for something different, you're going to need a 19mm spanner and do it up nice and tight. Now all I've got left to do, clip it off and put on my top strands. This end assembly has turned a potential disaster with a really poor decision leading to major problems into a perfect solution. The drive tight system might be the perfect system for your next end assembly. If you want to find out more about it, there's a link in the description. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the little subscribe button and give it a thumbs up because it really makes a big difference. And send this to someone with a problem fence.